Once again, a good morning to everybody, especially the new joinees. We have with us Mr. Jaideep Singh today, and he's the facilitator for the entire Google Cloud series. It is about 10 in the morning. There are about 21 attendees right now. So I believe this is a good time to start discussing the agenda for the day. So, all of you, please keep your Skill Boost accounts ready. Mr. Jaideep will start sharing his screen, and you can follow along with him. Over to you, Jaideep.
Hello everyone, good morning. Today we'll start learning about the Google Cloud platform. So firstly, let's start about learning what cloud computing is. I'll share my screen. So is my screen visible?
Yes, we can see.
So firstly, what's the cloud? The cloud is a platform or an infrastructure or a software. There are three options basically, and you can use it if you have a less machine to perform tasks, to store for storage. There are multiple various uses for cloud. These are the basically five fundamental characteristics. Firstly, cloud computing resources are on demand and self service. Customers use an automated interface and get the processing power, storage, and network without typical complex configurations required when building physical servers. That is the first and the most useful way of using cloud, because you can avoid all the extra infrastructure cost and transport all your computing to the cloud. Second, resources are accessible over a network from any location. All you need to access cloud resources is a system and a good internet connection, and you can access all the resources from anywhere. Providers allocate resources to consumers from a large pool, allowing them to benefit from economies of scale. The resources exist all over the world to decide the available geography which to utilize. There are different regions provided by the cloud service, which we will see later, and services are based on that location which you choose. Like if suppose you want your data to be stored in the Mumbai region, so you can select Mumbai, and your data will be stored in the data center which is located in that region, which is Mumbai. Resources are elastic. If you need more resources, you can get them rapidly, and when you need less, you can scale back. So cloud is also the one of the major advantages of using cloud computing is that it is scalable. So if you're working on a project and you find out that you need more computing power, or your traffic on your website has increased, so traditionally what you'll have to do is get more servers and connect them to other servers, which will take time and cost more. But in cloud computing, you can just scale easily, like pay more and get the services instantly. And if you're receiving less traffic, then you can scale down as well. Finally, you only pay for what you use or reserve as you go. If you stop using resources, you simply stop paying, which is also another major benefit of using cloud computing. These are the five fundamental characteristics which cause cloud computing to grow so much. Every company, Google believes that in the future, every company, regardless of size or industry, will differentiate itself from its competitors through technology. Largely, that technology will be in the form of software. Great software is centered on data, therefore, company is or will become a data company. Google Cloud provides a wide variety of services for managing and getting value from data at scale. So, as I was saying, there are three basic methods of using cloud. That there are infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. With infrastructure as a service, the service provides the underlying architecture for you to run servers. The resources to run are provided, but it is up to the user to manage the operating system and the application. So infrastructure may you'll get the underlying architecture to make your own machines like VMs and even store in infrastructure as a service. So you can build applications, build different machines to perform make another application. So you'll just get the basic hardware if you say if in infrastructure as a service. Then platform as a service takes it one step further. Now the entire environment will be managed for you, and all that is required for you is to manage your applications. The will be managed as part of the service. So in this you do not have to worry much about the hardware. You'll just for you to make and deploy your applications. Software as a service, we've all used this. For software as a service, the infrastructure platform and software is managed for you. All that's required that you bring your data to the system. A few commercial examples include SAP, Salesforce, use, and majorly all the in GCP or in the cloud platform, we'll see different types of services that are provided, and I'll mention all the features that how they are categorized as PaaS and SaaS. Moving on, uh, this slide shows the Google Cloud data centers that are present, which, as I mentioned earlier, there are different regions which are marked by the blue dots. Google's data centers around the world are interconnected by the Google network, which, by some publicly available estimates, carries as much as 40% of the world's internet traffic. This is the largest network and it continues to grow. It is designed to provide possible throughput and the low latencies for applications. The network interconnects with the public internet at more than 90 internet exchanges, more than 110 points of presence worldwide. When an internet user sends traffic to a Google resource, Google responds to the user's request network location, provide the lowest delay or latency. Google's edge caching network places content close to end users to minimize latency. Applications in Google Cloud can take advantage of this. So these are the few of the services which are offered by the Google Cloud platform for computing, like for the hardware or running or making an application. These are the five available services. Google Cloud's products and services can be broadly categorized as compute, storage, big data, and machine learning. Leveraging compute can include virtual machines while running Docker containers in managed platform using Google Kubernetes engine, then deploying applications in a managed platform like App Engine, running event-based serverless code using cloud functions, or running stateless containers as a managed service like Cloud Run. We will see all these services in depth in later classes. Next comes this second part, storage. A variety of managed storage options are available as well. For unstructured storage, there's cloud storage. For managed relational database, there's Cloud SQL or Cloud Spanner. And for no SQL, there are options like Data Store or Cloud Bigtable. So for every kind of data or every kind of database management service, we have some service offered by the GCP. Managed services dealing with big data and machine learning are available as well. So there are models or you can create your own. There are ways to make the model easy and quickly by data sets which are available. So we will also see that in the future classes. So let's start with the solid platform. There are four ways to interact with Google Cloud. Google Cloud Console, which we'll see today, Cloud SDK, and Cloud Shell, which is the command line interface, the REST-based API, and we can even use the Cloud Console mobile app. The Cloud Console serves as a centralized console for all your project data and lets you execute common tasks using simple mouse with no need to remember commands or avoid typos. It is the GUI for managing projects and resources. When you use the Cloud Console, you create in the context of a specific project. You can create multiple projects, so you can use projects to separate your work in whatever may make sense for you. For example, you might start a new project if you want to make sure only certain team members can access the resources in that project, while all team members can continue to access resources in another project. Is developed cloud resource repositories, Git versions, collaborative development of any application or service. SDK is a set of command line tools. You can run these tools interactively or in your automated scripts. Cloud Shell also provides you to your cloud resources directly from your browser, but without having to install the Cloud SDK or other tool on your system. The utilities you need are always available, up to date, and fully authenticated when you need them. The Cloud SDK and Cloud Shell will be discussed in more detail later in this module. The Cloud SDK includes client libraries that enable you to easily create and manage resources. Google Cloud client libraries expose APIs for two main purposes. App APIs provide access to service, and admin APIs offer functionality for resource management. So when you log into your Google Cloud account, this will be the first screen available. The project info, the project you're working on, the resources that are being used, error reports, the estimated charges, and the working APIs. We will see this when we get our credits for today. Here, if you click the drop down pane, we will get all the services that are offered, and they are also arranged in machine learning, storage, compute, and other two categories, big data and storage, like we have mentioned earlier. So, projects are the basis for enabling and using like managing APIs, enabling billing, adding and removing collaboration, and enabling other Google services. Each project separate account to exactly one. Projects can have different owners and users. They're built separately and they're managed separately. As for example, if you're working in a office, excuse me, so different projects are appointed different project leads. Same way, you divide it into different projects and you can appoint different leaders who can manage the resources, and each part will be built differently and the resources utilized by each project is also different. Resource Manager provides ways for you to programmatically manage your resources in Google Cloud. You can access resource managers through an RPC API or REST API. With these APIs, you can get a projects associated with create new projects, update projects, recover projects that you want to restore. The projects are they are attributes to project, the project ID, name, and the project number. Each Google Cloud project has a name, project ID that you assign. The project ID is a permanent, unchangeable identifier and it has to be unique across Google Cloud. While a project ID will be generated automatically, you can edit it. However, this must be done while creating the new project though, as it cannot be modified afterwards. In general, project IDs are need to strings and you'll use them frequently to refer the projects. On the other hand, project names are for your convenience and you can change them. Note though that you can't reuse the project name of a deleted project. Google Cloud also assigns each of your projects a unique project number and you'll see it displayed to you in various contexts. But using it outside the scope of this course, as you work with Google Cloud, you'll use these identifiers in certain command lines and API calls. Whenever we start a quick lab, we'll be given our login ID, password, and a project ID. We will see this later today. Yeah, from the main screen, there's an option project, and we can create or edit projects or even view our project from this drop down menu. This will be a sample creating window. A list of all current projects will be displayed. Select the new project option on the right hand side. When the new project screen is displayed, give your project a billing account will be the account which you select, and from that account and only that account the billing will be generated. Then organization will you can write the name or the label and location wherever the location seems best, and the resources will be assigned to you from that region. We'll see how billing in Google Cloud is set up at the Google Cloud project level. Cloud project, you link a billing account to it. This billing account is where you will configure all your billing information, including your payment options. You can link your billing account to zero or more projects. Projects that you don't link to any billing account can use free Google Cloud services. Your billing account can be charged automatically and invoiced every month or at every thread set. You can separate project billings by setting up billing sub accounts. Some Google Cloud customers who resell Google Cloud services use sub account for each of their own clients. Let's see what Cloud SDK is. The Cloud SDK is a set of command line tools that you can download and install onto a computer of your choice and use to manage resources and applications hosted on Google Cloud. The G Cloud CLI manages authentication, local configuration, developer workflow, and interaction with Google Cloud APIs. GSUtil provides command line access to manage cloud storage buckets and objects. BQ allows you to run queries and manipulate datasets, tables, and entities in BigQuery through command line. All this comes under the Cloud SDK, which can be downloaded. The Cloud Shell. Using Cloud Shell, you can manage your projects resources easily without having to install the Cloud SDK on the other tools locally. The Cloud SDK command line tools and other utilities are always available, up to date, and fully authenticated. Your Cloud Shell virtual machine is ephemeral, which means that it will be stopped whenever you stop using it interactively, and it will be restarted when you re-enter Cloud Shell. You get by default 5 GB of persistent disk storage that is attached for you every time a new Cloud Shell session is start. Provides web preview functionality and built-in authorization for access to Cloud Console projects and resources. We'll see Cloud Shell today as well. Cloud Shell can be started when you log into the page and then the right top option. It'll start the Cloud Shell and give you 5 GB of disk to work with. The Cloud Shell terminal window will appear on the lower portion of the window. Launching the Cloud Shell core editor and opening Cloud Shell in a new page can be performed using toolbar on the upper right corner of Cloud Shell. The Cloud Shell code editor is a tool for editing files inside your Cloud Shell environment in real time within the web browser. This tool is extremely convenient when working with code first applications or container based workloads because you can edit files easily without a need to download and upload changes. You can also use text editors from the Cloud Shell command prompt. This is a sample of the Cloud Shell and iOS and Android app. The Cloud Console mobile app is available for iOS and Android and offers many capabilities. It allows you to stay connected to the cloud and check billing, status, and critical issues. To see the health of your service at a glance, you can create your custom dashboard showing key metrics such as CPU usage, network usage, requests per second, server errors, and more. You can take action to address issues directly from your device, such as rolling back bad release, stopping or restarting a virtual machine, searching logs, or even connecting to a virtual machine via SSH. The monitoring functionality allows you to view and respond to incidents, errors, and logging. If you need to, you can access Cloud Shell to perform any G-Cloud operation as well. So the task for this is we'll first we'll start by getting the credits. We will see the base of Google Cloud. Uh, has every one of you received the mail? The mail will be something like this. Has everyone received the mail?
I believe the facilitator would be the only one that's received the mail.
No, the mail,
The-
the credits, for getting the credits, the access code. Everyone
oh,
will
yes,
get whoever
yes,
registered.
yes. We have received the credits email, correct?
So have you tried getting the credits done?
Okay, quite a lot of people have claimed the credit PS. Is that so?
See, Aman has claimed the credits. You'll get the 9 credits, but after that, once you perform the lab, you will get the monthly credit account. Has everyone? I'll show you how it looks like. 1 second.
Yeah, a small demonstration would be good.
So it the and the is that the case? Okay, then we'll try. I'll show you the steps again. Follow. So it is preferred to use incognito mode because your account other account. So your student account should be different. When you open the link, you need to enter this code unique for everyone, and we then perform the tour of your. I'll show 1 second. Is my incognito screen window visible?
I believe we can still see the email.
One second. Is the lab visible? The skill boost page.
Yes, now we can see it.
So when you enter the code, only after that you need to sign in with your account. One second. You can do the steps with me. So let me know when everyone is on the same page as I am. I'll keep the chat on. If you have not received the mail, then you might have entered the wrong data in the form. It should be there in general or spam, or the last case is you've entered the wrong data. Vishwa, have you previously used that email for accessing Quick Labs? It was mentioned in the form to create a new email, right? How many of you did not receive the mail? So two, only Vishwa and Sambhav. Okay, cool. Are the rest of you on the same page as I am? Okay, I see Shaswat, Moks, and Soham who's were on the same page. So let's start the first lab. After completing this lab successfully, we'll get the monthly subscription. If you tried this lab and you still don't get the credits, it is suggested that you try the lab again or just refresh. In my case, subscription because I've already activated this lab, but for you, it should show 0 or 9 credits. What the case is in your. How many credits is it showing? It's showing 9, right? If it's showing 0, then you can just refresh. You'll get 9. If you already have the monthly subscription, you can just wait. We'll go to the next lab soon when we are done with everyone having the monthly subscription. So, and Siddharth, did you try restarting the like do the process again of logging in? Okay, we'll wait for a minute. This page will be available when you click the enter code button on the mail which you have received, and then you enter the code which is there in the mail. Yes, so I'm trying to re-log in, like create, like exit the incognito window and start again. Does anyone else have an issue of arriving at this page? A normal tab can do, but the thing is that if there is another account logged in, then it may clash with the student account and create unnecessary trouble. So that's why it is suggested to use incognito tab for all the labs. As your progress will be stored in the account, so not. So let's begin this lab. So in this lab, we learn about the cloud shell, which we the roles and offered IAM role, identity access management. So firstly, uh, yes, so we'll ac- access the cloud console. Once we start a lab, we will get three things. First is the username, the password, and the project ID. This previous thing mentioned will be there for in all the labs. So we can see that automatically when we perform the. So this is the user ID for your. Whenever you start a lab, there are certain resources allocated to you which are needed to perform the lab. So that resources are allocated to this account given. ID which we saw earlier, the project ID. which is used to refer to a project that is also provided by Google Cloud Platform. So first, Cloud Console, we use the user ID and password. And here we need to agree. And basic GUI page, which I shared a screenshot of earlier in the slideshow. Excuse me. As you can see here, the project ID is this is the project ID, and it is the same as that which is provided by. And this is the first screen where you can monitor everything: the project ID, there's billing, there's APIs that are working, and here with this navigation menu, you can see all the services that are offered. For API and services, these are the services offered. For compute engine offers virtual machine instances, storages. Kubernetes will include clusters. Another storage, cloud storage, will offer different type of storage methods. BigQuery and Cloud Run serverless functions, which we are using. This is the basic page which we have landed on. So what we'll you can just answer this question in the chat. That's right, Aman. System admin is not look. Then second one, is it true or false? True. That's right. Now let's move to see projects. So if you click the project, you will see all the active projects which you have. We just have one project currently because we have not created any new project with this provided to us by Google. We can create a new project here. So we are using a free account. So that's why we have a limit of 12 projects. If we request an increase, then that will start billing us. So we can keep the project names whatever we want. The billing account, which is billing account, which is the demo account, and the location. We need to create an organization as well. Giving an error, but after creating an organization, we can create a new. This is the current project ID and the project number, which is automatically generated. Can anyone answer this question now? That is right. QuickLab resources is shared with all QuickLab users, which means that you cannot delete or modify it. Is this true or false? That is right, Ishan. And finally, GitLab Resources is the project where you run all of your lab steps. Right. GitLab Resources, the resources that are provided to you, you use them. But you run on the cloud console. That is why this is false. Excuse me. So this is the navigation menu which we saw, and it has the services offered by GCP. Here we can see the roles and permissions. This come under IAM. IAM means Identity Access Management. Here you create users and assign different roles to them. For example, if you're working on a project, you want to assign certain roles to the members in the project. For example, Bob is the lead, so he'll be given the admin role. Then Alice and John are working under him, or they're editors, so they'll be given the editor role. So different roles have different policies attached to them, which defines their access. So for if something is confidential, so you can attach a policy to that, which states that the one who has admin role can access the confidential files. So nobody other than the admin will be able to access the files. Similarly, different policies of different services. For example, if you are a developer, then you will be given access to all the services which aid in developing and deployment of applications. Whereas if you're only there to monitor the billing, you'll be given access to only the billing tab. So by these policies, you can define access and control of the users. We'll see IAM now. So as we can see that our ID is given the role of, and these two are the basic uh, the as we are using a free account, so these two are owned by Google, and this is our account. We can change or view our permission if we were the owner, if we had the owner role. So if you had the owner role, you can change different access to the user, define policies, create, etc. These are the, if you are the viewer, permission for read-only actions that do not affect state, such as viewing, but viewing existing resources or data. So you cannot modify. Editor has for actions as changing existing resources. If you're using 5 GB of disk in a virtual machine, an editor will be able to add or reduce the disk space or other hardware information. Owner has all access, all editor permissions for the following actions: managing roles, permissions for a project, and all resources within the project, setting up a billing for the similar project. So as I mentioned, different projects, and you can define a project lead. So the owner is the project lead, and he or she can define the resources that are needed and also the permissions regarding it. I will answer the first one and I'll ask the second one from the chat. Offers quick access to platform service and also outlines its offering, which means that the quick access to the services offered by the GCP in the navigation menu. Basic rules and project level permissions, and unless otherwise specified, control access and management to all Google Cloud services. So is this true or false? True, okay. Finally, provides all viewer permissions plus permissions for actions that modify state, such as changing existing resources. This is offered in which role? That's right, Aman. So API and services. Under the navigation menu, we can see different APIs and services that are offered. One of them is dialog flow. So for using an API, we first need to enable it, because if you're not using a service, then we should not pay for it, right? That is why usually all extra APIs are by default disabled. So let's go and enable dialog flow. It comes under the navigation menu in the API and services option. Click on library, and here we dialog flow. We have many different APIs for different purposes. Dialog flow is for machine learning. If it's not available for you there, you can just go search for dialog flow. See, enabled. So we enable it now. Take around a minute or so. Once enabled, you will be taken to a page. Here it will show you all the stats when using the API for training or testing your ML model. Click on check my progress to forward. Dialog flow. Also, please let me know if you're facing an issue. We will try to solve it right then and there. Has there dialog flow? Right. Wow. And that is the only thing which we need to do for this platform and how it works. Or you can then further go and disable. As soon as you finish the lab, this account and the project is automatically deleted. Once you've done with the task, we'll finish the lab. And as soon as you finish the lab, you will be given your monthly subscription account. Keep given that. Can you monthly subscription in your page? Can you mention in the chat if you're not seeing a monthly subscription? Hello? Am I
Yes, yes, you're audible.
Guys, this is the most important step, and without this monthly subscription, we won't be able to perform other labs. So please let me know if you get the monthly subscription button showing. Sorry, my chat was not updating. So, yes, who is having any issue? Shunali, then yeah, try refreshing the page, or if that's not working, then you can try doing the lab again. And also, you should get 9 credits at the start. Your monthly subscription should be visible here. You click your profile badge. Can everyone see their monthly subscription? If it's still showing 9 credits, then please refresh it once or twice. Okay, anyone else having the issue? You don't have to create a project now because we don't have the billing account and the organization. I was just showing that for as an example of how you create a project. You just need to enable Dialog API and get the assessment checked from the Quick Labs page. If everyone has completed and got their monthly subscription done, then we can proceed to creating a virtual machine, which is the next lab. Excuse me. Everyone has a monthly subscription activated. Okay, so let's proceed to the next lab, which is creating a virtual machine. You will be able to access it from the ending, the after the congratulations page. You'll get a link, hyperlink to creating a virtual machine. Click on it, and you will be on the new lab page. It should say 40 minutes lab. Are we all on the same page? Sonali, can you please elaborate more on your issue? You don't have to restart log into Gmail with that. Yeah, you can quickly restart the lab and repeat the same process. Just go directly to the Dialog API and enable it so that you can get the assessment checked and finish the lab after that. Are you restarting your lab? Yeah, so just search for dialog flow in the API library and just enable it. Once it is enabled, go to the Quick Labs page and click the check my assessment button. Google will verify if you have enabled the API or not. If enabled, it'll show a tick mark and you can then end your lab. Okay, cool. Let's proceed to the next lab then. Now here we will be creating a virtual machine. So what is a virtual machine? A virtual machine uh as it says, a machine which you access through the internet. So it is not located at your system or at your place, but it feels like you have the entire access to that machine. But all you are accessing is the resources that you have asked for in the specifications while creating the virtual machine. So let's start this lab and we'll proceed and I'll show you step by step how to create a virtual machine. We can do it in two ways. One through the command line interface and second through the GUI. So if we start another lab, we'll get the same username, we'll get another username, password, and a different project ID every time we start a new lab. So this is the previous steps which is there in there in all the labs. Okay, so first we will go to our cloud console, sign in with the credentials that are given to us. Let everyone arrive at this page, the main page of Google Cloud. Okay, so we'll move ahead. So the next step is we'll activate the Cloud Shell. It'll take a minute. So this is already like if you need to make any changes, it is already authenticated. But still, if you need to see the authorization, we can use this command gcloud auth list, and then you'll get an option to authorize and give access to Cloud Shell. It will show you the account which is active. The name of the account is the same as the username which is given to us. Excuse me. So first we need to create a instance, and we need to create an instance in different regions that are offered. So basically there are five regions: Western US, Central US, Eastern US, Western Europe, and Eastern Asia. These are the broad regions, and in these regions there are different zones. So you can uh, get the resources or store your data in any zone or region which you want. But there are some certain services which are region based, so you won't be able to access it if you're accessing it from a different region. But in the case of VM, it is accessible from every region. So we'll create a new instance from the cloud console this time, which is through the GUI. From the VM comes under the compute engine part because we are computing it. Therefore, under the navigations menu, go to compute engine part and click on VM instances. You can hide the terminal or close the terminal till then. So here we will create an instance by clicking the create instance button. You can name it whatever you like. Let's keep it GDSE AUM instance 1. The region will be the same region as which is there. I'll just read, yes, US West 1 and US West 1A. Okay, yes, you cannot have spaces, so let's keep it hyphens. So regions, it may or may not be the same in your case, but don't change the region because we're using a free account. And then the E2 series, which is this is the different types of VM that is offered, and under the E2 series there are different types of machines. So if you have a high requirement of a high resources machine, so you can select that. There are various type of machines offered based on the task which you want to perform. We just need to deploy a web server, so we don't need that much resources. So we'll just select E2 medium, which is by default. Then we need to make any more changes. E2, yes, even the boot disk is the same. We don't need to change that. Boot disk 10 GB, license type free, yes. Please make sure the license type is free. And then under the firewall, we need to allow HTTP traffic because we're going to deploy a web server. So other than that, please do not make any more changes. And once all this is done, you've checked everything, then uh, click create, where we go through the advanced option as well. Networking may you can get options for various network features. Disk is if you want more storage than offered, you can attach a new disk. Uh, cre- uh, if you attach more disk, the billing will be affected. Security by default, the basic security is offered, but if you want more security, you can select the turn on secure boot. Management will give us different options to manage the VM and different policies which we can attach to it. The policies can be created by yourself, or you can attach existing policies. After all this is done, we can just click create and your VM will be created. It will take a minute or so to deploy your VM. You will see the status, which is once you see the status running, that means your VM has been deployed correctly. Yes, I'll show you different regions. Uh, so the region, it will be different for you because of the account that is provided. So don't change the region or the zone. It is given to you by default. Just select it. And different regions offered are Western US, Central US, Eastern US, Western Europe, and Eastern Asia. And these are different zones. And there are data centers located in these zones. The major data centers are in these zones. That is why these are offered. So my VM has been deployed correctly. We'll be given the internal and external IP address to access it. But we will use SSH to connect to this. So first is there an option to select? Okay, no. So we can just directly connect to SSH. A new window will be open. Is my new window visible? Okay, perfect. So now I am in my VM. This is I'm directly connected to my VM and I can make any changes or download and install new softwares in this VM till my resources are available. You run some basic commands. And my file is there. Okay, so now we need to install. Cannot see the new window. 1 second. Uh, is it visible now? Ah, yes, I'll reshare. Is it visible now? Okay. So this is I'm directly connected to my VM. This is the terminal window, and we need to install a new Nginx server, web server. The commands for that are given in the quick lab page. First, we'll update the OS and then install it with the basic Linux commands. We'll update the previous software first. We'll update the OS. Once updated, we will install our web server. Next, we will use the grep command to see if our Nginx is working or not. So you can copy the command there in the page. If you get the same output, then that means that your it is working. Your web server is working. Once you perform all these commands, once you've installed the web server, we just need to check the progress. So if your web server has been is deployed correctly, you will get this assessment completed. Now, as we have installed it in a new VM, we can check the deployment through this external IP. Just write HTTP. um, So this screen should be visible to all if you've deployed the web server correctly. And as we have enabled HTTP traffic while creating our VM, we are able to access this page. Did you not Subodh, did you not enable it while creating the VM in the firewall rules? You can keep the terminal open. It does not cause any issue. So you need to delete the current VM and create a new one. Keep the settings same and under the firewall rules, enable HTTP traffic. Because it is not enabled, your firewall is not allowing access. Are the others able to access the web server? Okay, good. Shashwat and Aman. Perfect. Yes, HTTPS is more secure, but as we are not making any application, that is why we are using HTTP, because if you choose to create more secure rules, then it affects the cost. More security results in more cost. Next, we will create who was not able to access. So Subodh, if you're not able to access it through uh, the G Cloud, we can We are going to create a new we are going to create a new instance through the Cloud Shell, so you can access it then. So it's also the same process, right? Yes, it should be the same process. Yes, perfect. Okay, so we'll make a new instance, but this time we won't use the GUI. Instead, we will use the Cloud Shell. So this is the command for making a new instance. Gcloud compute instances create. GC Lab 2 is the name of the instance which we are giving. You can keep this whatever name you want till the rules are followed. There should be no space, and if you want to keep space, you can use an hyphen instead. Machine type, as we selected last time, E2 medium, and the zone. This should be the zone which is offered to you in the first place. For me, it is US West 1. For you, it may be different. So if we use this command there in the Cloud Shell, we can close this terminal window. We can write exit. So from Cloud Shell, we will paste the command, and this should create a new compute instance. If there's any part of the command which is not clear, then please mention in the chat. I will try my best to make you understand the command. So see the name is GC Lab 2. You can change the name. Then the zone is a US West 1, West 1A, which we mentioned before. Furthermore, the machine type is the E2 medium. Internal IP and external IP are provided. The status is running as we have deployed. So now we have two VMs running. So if you refresh this page, sorry, if you there's a refresh button here. Yes, refresh this instances page. You'll be able to see two instances running. Yes. So now first one is a GDSC AUM instance one which we created through the GUI. The second one is GC Lab 2 which we created using the Cloud Shell. Both have different external and internal IPs, and we can connect to this using SSH, but this time we'll connect using Cloud Shell. So after you've deployed the second VM, please check your progress. Any doubts till now? Perfect. So basically this lab is completed, but if you want more information about your VM which is created, you can use the create help command. It will show all the instances that are created. You can use it in the terminal. So all the functions which are possible, all the different commands, you will be given a insight on them. Then next we have so with this command we'll be able to the VM through the command line. We'll exit this, then we'll connect it using the name of the instance and the region. Let's copy the command again. That's why there is no paraphrase which is there. So we'll just press enter twice. And yes, that is it. We are in the VM. And then we can just do whatever we like in the VM. We can make new files. You can delete files. You can write text files, use the VI editor, different editors that are available in Linux, download softwares. And if we try to access Nginx on this using this external IP, we won't be able to access it because we have not installed the web server on this instance. So let's try it again. We'll copy this. So it will just keep on loading and say that there's an error because there's no web server deployed in the IP. Yes, we've not enabled HTTP access. So we should get the previous error if we check our assessment there, if there was an option. But as there's no option, we won't get the same error. It'll just keep on loading and say the site can't be reached. Yeah, checking the proxy on the firewall because the firewall is not permitting the HTTP access. After that, you can exit the SSH connection and just close the terminal. If you want, you can. The right action is after using a VM, if you're not going to use it anymore, then delete it or at least stop it so that your resources are not getting utilized. We can just close this page because as soon as we end the lab, all our resources will be deleted and this account will be deleted. But the right practice is to stop your cloud resources, as there has been the most common way of overutilization of resources is that you start an instance, you start a machine learning model and you forget about it. So it keeps on running in the background even if your machine is not powered on, because all this is working on the cloud. So you keep on getting charged for that. So it is always good to delete your VM if you're not going to use it anymore. So we learned two ways to create a VM: the gcloud command line tool and the cloud console. When you're done with this, you'll see 100 out of 100 there, which means your lab is completed and you can end your lab. Did everyone get 100 out of 100 and complete their lab? Okay, perfect. So we're done for today. In the next class, we will see the Kubernetes engine. I will explain you what a container is, how to create a container, and further we'll see the cloud run functions and many other services offered by GCP. If you have any doubts about today's class, please mention it in the chat, and you can perform these labs again because you have the subscription now.
All right, I believe we have come towards the end of today's session. And as Jaydeep Bhaiya has rightly stated, you all have your monthly connection. So if you feel confident enough, we recommend all of you start taking these labs on your own as well. The instructions are very clear. And within the time limit, you can go ahead and complete these labs. And then please do pay attention. There will be occasional tests within these tracks. So be prepared for them. Don't just copy and paste. Try to understand what is happening. And now, while executing these commands and running these labs, if you come across some issue, like some people had issues today as well, that is where we will play our major role as a facilitator and the club. You can ask us your doubts. If you get stuck anywhere, you can mention it to us, especially on the group that we have. And there we can solve that the problems that you face. Or in the next session that we'll be doing, you can enlist your problems and then we'll solve them one by one while also demonstrating the difficult parts of the lab. We'll go over a little bit of theory and then we'll solve your doubts as well. Is everybody fine with that?
And also, one more thing, as kind of a homework, please just go through what a container is if you don't already know, and see the difference between a container and a virtual machine. We'll work with containers in the next class because it is a different concept. So that is why if you have some previous knowledge, it will be more easier for you to perform the lab. Okay, perfect. So we'll end our session today. Thank you all for coming. Hope to see you in the next session too.
Thank you so much for joining. Thank you, Jerry Bhai, for such a wonderful session. And we'll see you again next week. Bye.
Yes. I'll stop the simulcast